We know it. It's why we're here. Allow me to share a short quote with you. I swore never to be silent whenever and wherever human beings endure suffering and humiliation. We must always take sides. Neutrality helps the oppressor, never the victim. Silence encourages the tormentor, never the tormented. Sometimes we must interfere when human lives are endangered, when human dignity is in jeopardy. National borders and sensitivities become irrelevant. Wherever men or women are persecuted because of their race, religion, or political views, that place must, at that moment, become the center of the universe. These words by Elie Wiesel, who survived the camp we are visiting tomorrow, best summarize our shared fight. Today and tomorrow, we ask you to join us in making this event the center of the universe when it comes to fighting anti-Semitism. With your help, with your influence, with your guidance, with your expertise, and with your ability to enact laws. It's not sycophancy to say that we really, really cannot do it without you. On behalf of our members and staff, we thank you for your time, your commitment, and the dedication to be here with us today and tomorrow. We'd like to share a short video with you now to share with you some of the issues that are at stake.
Anti-Semitism and incitement against Jews intensified rapidly, leading us to concentration camps. Thus began the Holocaust. The Holocaust is over. A shocked world pledged, never again. But sadly, it doesn't end. It doesn't stop.
Armed guards have been posted at synagogues.
We deal with this hate all over the world.
Freeing many hostages.
65-year-old Orthodox Jew was savagely murdered.
Day to day, week to week,
Juden oder nicht Jude?
month to month.
Breaking news. At this hour, police are on the scene of a deadly shooting at the Tree of Life Synagogue.
Excellencies, it's up to us. Anti-Semitism starts with Jews, but it hurts everyone and infects everything. Together, we are able to stop it. Today, we are here to make a decision to transform our statements from words into action, to serve as an example to the world that we will really do everything we can to stop anti-Semitism. And this will only happen thanks to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's worth noting that none of us would be here tonight if it wasn't thanks to the vision and commitment of two principled and honorable men, men for whom a deep and abiding love of Judaism and the Jewish people underpin and guide their every waking move and motivation. I'm talking about our EGA chairman, Rabbi Menachem Margolin, and Action and Protection League chairman, Rabbi Shlomo Kovesh. I ask you kindly to welcome first to the stage Rabbi Menachem Margolin.
Good evening. Thank you again for coming here today. How sad is it that these terrible images we've seen together are real and not made up? Let me share with you a story. When the US Army came to liberate Buchenwald camp, an American Jewish soldier saw a young man, 16 years old, sitting and crying. The American soldier asked the child, "Why do you cry?" But the child did not answer. He only repeatedly said that he does not know how God will forgive him for what he did. The soldier looked at the young man and he said, "You are the one to be forgiven? You went through the worst hell on earth?" This 16-year-old boy continued to cry. He could not answer. But an older man who was sitting next to the child was telling the soldier that just a few days earlier, a Nazi commander who thought it is funny to abuse Jews took this child and his father in front of the entire camp. He hanged the father on the gallows. And then he told the child that he got two options. Either he pushed the chair on which his father was standing still, and basically to kill him. Either to refuse, but then he will be killed as well. The child told his father, "Daddy, I will never do it." But the father looked at his son and said, "My dear son, the Bible obliges you to respect your father, to listen to your father. I am your father, and I'm asking you now, please push back the chair. I will die, but you will survive. You will build a family, and that will be my greatest joy to see you from heaven with your own family." The child pushed the chair. The father died. And since then, the child hasn't stopped to cry. Excellencies, unfortunately, these were the choices the Jews were faced with. Today, thanks God, the choices we have are much easier, but not less significant. Because 75 years since that moment, and we can't allow a situation that put into danger today's easier choice by turning them into, God forbid, much harder ones. For this reason, I kindly urge each one of you to take with you home tomorrow not only the image of hell we are going to see in tomorrow's visit, because that will be a missed opportunity. Instead, we have the opportunity to transform the evil into a force for good. Earlier today, we presented a draft legislation that kindly asks to ban any use of Jewish stereotypes, anti-Semitic stereotypes, to ban trade of Nazi memorabilia, and more important, to strengthen education about the Holocaust and the contribution of the Jews to the European society. We very much hope to see in you partners, good partners, to promote this legislation that no question will be a game changer for the level of the expression of the anti-Semitism in Europe as of today. About a month ago, the Jewish people celebrated the holiday of Hanukkah. We say, and it was repeatedly said today, that a little bit of light can burn away a lot of darkness. For this reason, I urge each one of you to be that candle with your family, with your friends, with your colleagues, with your neighbors, and more important, with all those around you who remain silent, those who shrug their shoulders, are afraid to interfere, and won't look anti-Semitism in the eyes. But you are leaders. You're all leaders. and people look up to you and follow your example. And therefore, this is in your hands. Our future, Europe's future, is in your hands. And you can make this a very important and positive change. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rabbi Margolin. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome the chairman of EAPL, Rabbi Shlomo Kovesh.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, the country that I come from, Hungary, used to be part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. And I'm sure many of you are aware of the fact that many cities in the Austro-Hungarian Empire had many names. They used to have a name in German, a name in Hungarian, a name in Slovak, a name in Romanian. But you might not know that many of these towns also had a special Jewish name in Yiddish, the Jewish language, the Jewish European language. The town of Kolozsvár, Cluj, Kloisenburg, used to have a great rabbi by the name of Yekusiel Yehuda Halberstam. This rabbi, who was an esteemed and very much respected leader of his community in Kloisenburg, Cluj, Kolozsvár, was about my age. He was 38 years old in the 1944, around May or June. This young man, at the age of 38, was taken for forced labor by the Hungarian army, but his family was left at home. He had 10 children and a whole community. In just a few days' time, his whole family was taken to the ghetto, and in just a few weeks after being taken to the ghetto, they were taken to Auschwitz death camp, not far away from here. All of his family perished in the Holocaust. None of them came back. Not his wife, not his 10 children. But Rabbi Halberstam was a very positive man. He tried to look at everything with a positive angle. And although he lost his whole family, most of his community, after coming back from hell of the hells at the end of the war, he decided he will not give up, and he will try to recreate his community. He will rebuild his community and his own personal life by remarrying and reestablishing a family. Later on, he moved to Israel, where he became a very important spiritual leader of not only of his own community, but of the general public in the modern state of Israel, the young modern state of Israel. And he had another 7 children after rebuilding his family. He always used to speak about the importance of looking to the future with a positive angle. Always used to speak about the importance of gathering strength from the sacrifice of those who never returned from the Holocaust, from Auschwitz, from the death camps. And he himself gave an unbelievable example of how to do that. He came back, he reestablished his family, he reestablished his community, and he took an important role in establishing the modern state of Israel. Around the 1960s, his first son, of obviously his second family, his second marriage, was taken to the chuppah. You know, the chuppah is the important symbol of a Jewish marriage. He was taking his first son that was born after the Holocaust to a wedding, and you can imagine what type of emotions there were in the air. The esteemed and honored rabbi of Kloisenburg will bring his first son to the chuppah, to the marriage, and you can imagine how the whole community and the whole Israel was celebrating together with him. But there was another thing in the air. And that was the sorrow of remembering those who couldn't be there, remembering 10 of his children, his wife, members of most of his community that didn't survive the Holocaust. And you could imagine the intense feeling in the room when they took his son under the chuppah to the wedding of this special occasion. People were crying, remembering their own family, their own members of their community who never returned after the Holocaust. And to their surprise, when everybody almost burst out of crying during the ceremony of the chuppah wedding, suddenly the rabbi started dancing. He started dancing. And if you know, there's a song in Yiddish, as the Rebbe tanzen alle Hasidim. If the rabbi dances, all of his followers need to dance as well. So although they were struggling with their own sorrow and with their own feeling of sorrowness and bitterness for the people that they remembered, everybody started dancing. And the rabbi started dancing and singing, and everybody was gazed and surprised. Why is the rabbi dancing and singing? Then he stopped dancing after 15, 20 minutes. The ceremony took place. But at the peak of the ceremony, he stopped and he said, I know all of you are surprised. Why am I happy? Why am I dancing? Why am I singing? I want to let you know that although we can feel the feeling of sorrowness and bitterness because of all those that we have lost, because of all those horrific and terrible events that took place in our generation, but I am happy because if I look around, I see all of you. I see my children, my family, my community. I see people that I admire and I hold dear. And I know we won. I know, as he said, Am Yisrael Chai, the nation of Israel is alive. We have our own country. We have a future. And the values that we hold dear, we as a Jewish community and we as humans at large, those values won over the values of the persecution. And this is the story that I was thinking of today, looking around in the room. Tomorrow we will go and commemorate in Auschwitz the more than 1 million victims of hatred of anti-Semitism. Maybe not all of you know, but 30% of those victims were Hungarian. As the minister mentioned before, Minister Varga, Auschwitz is the largest gravesite for Hungary. So we have a lot to feel sorrow about, a lot to feel bitterness about. At the same time, if we are united, all of us, Jews, non-Jews, left-wing politicians, right-wing politicians, Christians, non-religious people, we are united to fight for a better world, then we can say that all that sorrowness and bitterness is only giving us more motivation to look to a more positive world, and we should always know that the state of the world, whether it's a good world or a bad world, is dependent on us. I wish you to take away from these few days of being together enough motivation when each and every one of you goes home to his own nation, to his own family of people, own country, to be strong, to fight and stand up against hatred, and to do whatever we can in our own surroundings with our own set of tools to fight this oldest hatred of anti-Semitism. We are very grateful for you for being here, being together with us. We wish you a lot of health and a lot of happiness in this fight. Let us all remember and commemorate, but with happiness and with the hope of joy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rabbi Kovesh. Dear guests, we're also deeply honored to welcome to the stage a special guest from the Chancellery of a President of Poland, who will deliver a message and greetings from Polish President Andrzej Duda, who, due to being abroad on state business, couldn't be with us this evening. Minister Wojciech Kolarski, we are delighted to welcome you and invite you to address us.
I'm honored to read a letter from the President Andrzej Duda, and I hope that the translation will be on the screen behind me. Okay. Dostojni goście,